Tony Mills, and I'm a dancer and choreographer, and I make work under the name of Room to Maneuver. I started dancing back in 1999 when I came to Edinburgh University to study veterinary medicine. I started taking classes in hip-hop and breaking and dance bass and at the Edinburgh University Modern Dance Society. And dance pretty much started to take over my life up to the point where I almost took a year out of my course to go and scratch that itch. But I came back to finish what I started. But after I graduated in 2004, I got offered a job by a dance company called Fresh Mess. And Fresh Mess used to mix like hip-hop and contemporary, and I kind of met them through the hip-hop scene in Edinburgh. We started working towards a show in the Fringe and performed it that summer. And then basically that was me. I was kind of down with that company for about 3.5 years. After that point, we toured a few shows and stuff like that, and I felt like I couldn't blag it anymore and I should probably really get some dance training. So I ended up going to the Scottish School of Contemporary Dance for a year. After that, I came out and decided it was time for me to make my own work. I had made a few shows with my crew and I'd been performing with Fresh Mess, but I really wanted to do my own thing, and that's how Room to Maneuver came to be. And I made the first show back in 2009, which was called Watch It, and then that went on and toured in 2010, 2011. And then I went up and decided I would knock on the door of the Brunton Theatre and ask if I could be a resident company there. And I was a little bit late to the meeting, but they still said yes. So since 2015, we've been based out of the Brunton Theatre in Musselburgh, and we've been touring shows all the way from Shetland and to Shanghai. How I would kind of describe my practice, I suppose there's like 4 pillars. Like there's performance, there's teaching, there's events, and then there's professional development for artists. My performance work is, I guess, has got lots strong doses of dark humour. It's definitely a sort of tragic comedy, and it's definitely physically visceral, I would say. I like to try to mix hip-hop and breaking, contemporary dance and physical theatre. That's really like my basis, like in breaking and everything like that, and learning all these other styles. So trying to find a kind of unique vocabulary. And I like to talk about things that kind of affect all of us, I suppose, like little universal themes or things about the human condition or existential crises and things like that. Essentially, it's an opportunity, a cathartic opportunity for me to sort of make my work and stuff like that. But at the end of it, it's not all totally nihilistic. There is also a little dose of hope at the end of these shows and things like that. I tend to work a little bit with text and narrative, and really like the form of dance theatre. We create work in stages, in site-specific, and also outdoors. Recently, over the last few years, I've generated quite a nice interest in the mixture of sport and dance. So I'm really interested, I found it like it's really interesting to see dance performances performed in like sports settings. And I like that kind of juxtaposition, and it brings in a different kind of audience. And it's also quite sort of inspiring because it's different and you don't expect it. And that went really far to the point where I created the first international dance festival, which was about dance and sport, called At Your Leisure, which took place around the county of East Lothian and also in Edinburgh. And that's probably one of the highlights of my career so far, was making that happen, actually, from like an idea, and then it became like a real thing. Also, we're delivering creative learning packages for schools in the area, and creating opportunities for artists. So since being resident at the Brunton Theatre, I've realised that I now have got access to theatre and spaces and things like that, so I can sort of offer that out to the community. So I also give artists opportunity for mentoring, residencies, free space, free teaching, and then just, you know, being a little bit more involved in what can happen in East Lothian. I suppose right now, in terms of the future, I'm very lucky to have gotten the job of the artistic director of Dance Space. That's been a really new thing for me. It's very exciting, it's been very different. It means I'll have to step back a little bit from Room to Maneuver, but it does mean that hopefully through this job, I'll have the opportunity to have a much deeper and wider impact, and maybe make a few changes, like the things that I've seen as over my career as a dance artist in Scotland. To try and provide better and more opportunities for professional dance artists and to get more people basically dancing in Scotland. The job is going to last for about 4 years, and after that, hopefully I will stay in sort of the world of cultural strategy, but I also don't want to lose touch with my creative practice. I do want to be able to have the opportunity to create work, to work with bodies and spaces and make things happen, because for me, as I've been an artist, both making work and also seeing work, the most important thing I think that art can do is like surprise you. you know, like going to see a dance show that you don't know anything about, reading a book that you don't know anything about, seeing a film, and all of a sudden that experience just like changes your mind, really, you know, just shifts your worldview a little bit. And that experience is really valuable, so I want to be able to make sure I'm able to give that to somebody. So I hope that people will be able to take a chance on dance.